The Lakers' master plan has been revealed as a shocking report has dropped, revealing some big information surrounding the Lakers' pursuit of a superstar. We're going to break down exactly who it is and discuss what this report entails. It is Lakers fans fired up and a little bit confused. So stay tuned for all that in this episode, as well as a couple of other comments from rival GMs surrounding the Luka Doncic trade. The situation keeps getting crazier. We're going to keep you up to date with all that in this episode. But before we get into it, folks, if you're part of the 90% who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Lakers content. So thank you guys for your continued support here on the channel as we're approaching 20,000 subscribers. We just hit 15K. So the next big goal is 20, but make sure to hit that subscribe button. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot to go over today. Thank you guys again for your continued support. But we know that there's been a bunch of reports circulating. I obviously had a video earlier today covering, Kelly Olynyk, a buyout guy. A report dropped that has Lakers fans confused, fired up, and I'm very curious to see what all your comments down below and your thoughts are on this, because it is very intriguing. And we're going to start with this. So, source, Spurs, Rockets, Lakers, Heat to pursue Kevin Durant trade in the off season. And according to Windhorst Ramona Shelburne, Durant was open to getting traded to the Heat at this year's deadline. And you can see here, Durant, however, would have been open to being traded to the Heat, all these different things. But the Lakers have been named now among teams interested in pursuing a Kevin Durant trade in the offseason. And we know that the Phoenix Suns almost traded Durant at this year's deadline, and Durant wasn't happy about it. The Warriors had a deal to acquire Durant. KD blocked it. And Brian Windhorst of ESPN believes Durant will probably get traded by the Suns this summer. So we know that the Suns were desperately shopping for, a Kevin Durant trade, also looking to trade for Jimmy Butler, neither of which happened, right? And now to see the Lakers named in a trade for Kevin Durant, it kind of reveals the Lakers' master plan a little bit here from Sam Amico. It is very intriguing, confusing. I mean, Kevin Durant is a phenomenal player, and it just goes to show, some of the other teams make a lot of sense. Again, the Spurs trying to pair him up with Wemby and D. Fox, the Rockets, Lakers, and of course the Heat, who he would have been willing to go to. So Heat are very, a rival team here. But again, he's probably going to be traded this summer, and to see the Lakers there is very, very interesting. Now, there's a lot to go over with this, because Kevin Durant's obviously a fantastic, player. He is going to be turning 37 at this point, and I'm not entirely sure the fit makes a ton of sense. Now, let's just assume, for the sake of argument here, that LeBron James picks up his player option and he's going to be with the Lakers next season. Let's just assume that is the case. Would the Lakers be willing to give up assets for Kevin Durant? That's the big thing. Now, and that's also, and we'll dive into in a minute, the other teams that can offer packages. These teams you're going up against, mainly the Spurs and the Rockets, have a ton of young players and picks, whereas the Lakers, on the other hand, unless Kevin Durant forces his way to LA and gives, the Suns no leverage, it's going to be tough for the Lakers to match any, plan here. But according to this report, their plan right now is to try and pursue Kevin Durant. Now, take it with a grain of salt. It is Sam Amico. It's not, the Shams of the world or anything like that. But it is very interesting. And as you start to, picture a front court, a back court, with a lineup with Luka, LeBron, and Kevin Durant, it would be absolutely unheard of. And he's a 4-time scoring champion, a 2-time champion, a 2-time finals MVP, a 1-time regular season MVP. I don't need to read out all his accolades to you guys, but he's great. He turns 37 next season. He's averaging 27, 6, and 4. He is one of the most efficient scorers, arguably one of the best scorers we have ever seen. To pair him alongside Luka and LeBron, you'd have LeBron at age 40, 41. You have KD at age 37. You have Luka in his prime here. Like, on paper, it does make sense. Now, would the Lakers want someone like this? That's the big question, because their assets now have to be, and we all assume that the assets they're going to get, maybe they flip one of the young players and try to get another first-round pick in order to make another trade for a center. That's what we all think is going to happen, is the Lakers get a center, right? Use their assets to trade for a 5. According to this report, they might not even look for a 5, play small ball lineup with KD at the 5. He is a 7-footer after all, but it's very intriguing. Lakers fans are a little bit confused. Like, I understand the premise of it. Sure, it makes a little bit of sense when it comes to, LeBron and KD have always kind of wanted to play together. At least all of us fans want to see, just stars play with each other, LeBron and Luka. I don't know necessarily that, the Lakers would want to trade assets for a 37-year-old. You would be going all in, and who knows what the future of LeBron holds. Now, we hear some reports from Wendy saying he's not even close to done. He could play till he's 45 alongside his son, Bronny, all these different things. But as of now, he is there's a world where he doesn't even pick up his player option after this season. I do think he does, especially depending how this season goes with Luka. You'd like to assume LeBron's going to give it one more chance to play alongside Luka Doncic with an actual center next season after they make the trade in the offseason, assuming for a center. But if this is the case and they go out and get Kevin Durant, I guess you get another veteran minimum center. You move some things around. You trade for another center with your picks. The Lakers don't have a ton of assets compared to some of these other teams. You look at the Rockets, they have Jabari Smith. They have some first-round picks. They have all of these different things. You look at the Spurs, they still have some picks even after the De'Aaron Fox trade. It is interesting. I don't think the Heat or the Lakers have necessarily enough to match the Spurs or the Rockets in a hypothetical trade like this. You have other teams that are also going to be pursuing. But again, after the Luka Doncic trade, and that's what makes it so crazy. After the Luka Doncic trade, I am not going to put anything past Rob Pelinka because, no one expected the Lakers to trade for Luka Doncic. And now that we're hearing reports surrounding Kevin Durant, I can't sit back and say that it's never going to happen because guess what? They traded for Luka Doncic, and that's the reality of the situation. Now, again, he was open to willing to be traded to the Heat. You had to assume Kevin Durant will have to approve such a trade like this, even though, that's what happened at the deadline. Pat Riley is going to be heavily pursuing him. He did not want to go back to the Warriors. There's been no real links of KD to the Lakers as of late, simply because, you could package Dalton, Knecht, your first-round pick, some things like that. I don't understand necessarily how the Rockets wouldn't be able to beat it or, of course, the other teams involved, the Spurs. However, there is still a possibility, and of course, we're going to keep you up to date with all the latest news, and this is some pretty big news. So let me know down below, A, do you think the Lakers have enough, and B, do you think you would want the Lakers to even pursue Kevin Durant and give up assets when they have a glaring hole at center? Because you had to assume any of the assets they give up to get Kevin Durant, you'd have to give up the assets that we're going to use to get a guy like Nic Claxton or any of the centers that are available, unless you sign some in free agency, which could be interesting as well, but with all you can see how much salary they have left, all these different things, a ton of moving parts. So let me know down below what your thoughts are on this. It is an extremely interesting scenario and something that I just wanted to cover, especially during the All-Star break when, news is a little bit interesting and not dead, but it's a little bit interesting right now. So it's the time to cover it while the news is dry. But let's dive into something else. Now, the Luka Doncic trade, we've kind of, we've started to discuss, you kind of get past it a little bit. We've all kind of came to terms, which is crazy, with the fact that Luka is a Laker. But a new report came out. The Jazz GM believes that Mavericks gave Lakers a gift in Luka Doncic. And it's just very interesting because he came out and said some very intriguing things surrounding the behind-the-scenes process of this trade. Look, obviously, Rob Pelinka even said it in his press conference introducing Luka that it was a gift. And I think that's how a lot of my colleagues, I don't want to speak for them, but that's how we all kind of felt. Nico and Dallas, they do a great job. They obviously have their reasons in wanting to improve defense. I've been racking my brain trying to figure out the last time somebody this big outside of free agency being traded at the age at 25 years old. You're talking about a global superstar. Thank you to Nico Harrison. It's interesting to see from other, perspectives here. And of course, the Jazz were the third team in facilitating the deal, and it is very, very interesting. Zanuck also talked about how he's happy to take back some assets from both teams, essentially for free, but that they probably wouldn't have made the deal if the Jazz were in better standings and knew what the other teams involved in the trade were. By all accounts, the Lakers and Mavs didn't get the Jazz involved in the final details until they had to be known. It's a trade that reshaped the Western Conference for the foreseeable future. Once again, another report confirming basically from the GM himself, they wouldn't have done the deal if they knew it was Luka going the other way. But that'll wrap it up. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. A ton of different things. We're going to keep you updated with all the latest news. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching. Cheers.